World leaders, including Vice President Kamala Harris, are in Germany for the Munich Security Conference. The global summit comes at a pivotal time with the one-year anniversary of Russia's war on Ukraine looming. Harris is expected to continue to express America's support for Ukraine alongside European leaders, including French President Emmanuel Macron.
And to see you again here in Munich and talk about, as a priority, our commitment as a partner to the people of Ukraine and many other issues is part of our continuing conversation that is the testament to the friendship and the partnership over many generations.
President Biden will travel to Poland Monday to mark the anniversary of the war while also meeting with NATO allies. Here with us now is Bradley Bowman, Senior Director of FDD's Center on Military and Political Power. Brad, thanks for joining us tonight. As we mentioned just now, the vice president is in Munich. Russian leaders aren't invited, a first in the history of the security conference. What's at stake when it comes to global security as Russia's war on Ukraine continues?
Thanks so much for the question. I think what's at stake is whether the United States and our European allies continue to make what I see as the investments necessary to help Ukraine defeat this unprovoked Russian invasion. I think authoritarian regimes around the world are watching to see whether the West has the staying power to stick with it, even when it gets long and hard, to ensure that we send a strong message that autocrats cannot redraw international borders with military force.
Well, and as President Biden prepares to visit Poland, some lawmakers are questioning whether the U.S. should end aid for Ukraine. How do you expect the president will handle that in conversations with our allies?
You know, I think he should start with the facts. I think the small group of Republicans who are expressing concerns about this really are on the political fringes, and the Republicans who are leading the key national security committees don't agree. And because they look at facts like the following, you know, we've committed about $29.3 billion in security assistance to Ukraine. That's about 3.4%, 3.4% of what we spent on the Department of Defense in 2023. And what are we getting for that? We're preventing Vladimir Putin from accomplishing many of his objectives in Ukraine. We're sending the message to autocrats around the world that I just described. And we're destroying the second leading military threat to the United States. That's a bargain for 3.4% of our defense spending for this fiscal year. And I think we would curtail or cut that at our own peril.
Right. Well, we can't let you go without talking about China here for a minute. How likely is it that Secretary of State Antony Blinken and his Chinese counterpart meet on the sidelines of the Munich Security Conference this week to talk about the U.S.-China relationship?
I think it's likely that they will. We'll see. You know, these kind of sideline meetings are pretty common, and that's frankly where a lot of the business occurs of value. And so I hope they do meet, and I hope the administration continues to send the message that the United States will defend our airspace. And if they want to send more spy balloons here, we're going to shoot those down too. But we got to maintain open communication, because that kind of communication is valuable in crises to prevent things from getting worse and escalating.